Hi, my name is Keenan Hartert. I'm a professor of biology at Minnesota State University, Mankato. I study cancer research and biology education research. So today we're going to practice one of the new functions that Prism has for nonlinear regressions. It's going to make our lives a lot easier for those of us that use TeX format, text format, whatever you want to call it, the sort of universal mathematical equation app, format for text. This is a translatable setup, and now you're not going to ever have to make this manually for anything that you do directly in Prism. Like most of you, I like inserting a lot of my text and guides in a single figure so that people don't always have to dig through the caption. So let's go ahead and start. If you want to get into Prism's tutorial data, you would load up an XY and say nonlinear regression. So we've got minutes across decaying time of exponential decay. So we've got a control group versus a treated group. And this is a good setup for Prism's XY where you're going to have replicates in each round for minutes. And it's going to be okay if sometimes you don't have every single one. Prism will make the best of it. So as we look here, I've already sort of captured a few variables that I like to kind of make things look good. I make sure to add a nice color setup for everybody, control and treated. You'll notice that, again, this is not going to be a linear transition. We need to use the nonlinear reg here. So starting off quick, let's go ahead and say new analysis right here. What you're going to want to do is find your way to XY analysis, say nonlinear regression curve fit. You'll want all your groups selected. You're going to hit OK right there. So the one that in the case of this example, there are lots of nonlinear regressions actually. What were the main function for us to show you how to insert a TeX format technically can apply to a lot of these, but in our case, the example data that we're using is decay. We're going to use one phase decay and go ahead and take a look. So once you have this selected in XY nonlinear reg, you can go ahead and compare, make sure that you have all the details that you want. Different models are going to need different things. The constraint in this one even is actually set already based on the model, initial values, range, output, whatever you want. I know that for me, I love when there's an option to have the confidence bands in there. I think it looks great. And any other tests that you want to kind of run here, I can also run, I can make residuals, anything like that that I want. It's kind of going to be your call. So let's go and run this. Looks good. We have plateaus, constants, confidence intervals, things like that. But it's here that we want to kind of spend most of our time. And again, if I wanted to format things, I would probably say, hey, let's find the treated curve and show me my connecting curve as that same color that I had already made things. So let's go and apply that. And now we're matching colors. Sorry, we just got to. So at this stage, where you're going to direct your attention is towards the upper left. So insert over here, info or analysis constant. Go ahead and click that. What you're going to have here is the ability. So here's our analysis that we just did. I want to put through the TeX formats of the data that I just made. So I'm going to say, based on this, in the TeX format just like that, I want to go ahead and insert this into my figure like that. And I'm actually going to be able to run that a couple other times right here. So as I go into the treated format, I'm going to say, all right, I want the TeX equation. Let's take a look here. Perfect. So given everything, I now have the ability to just run a universal formatted setup here. This one doesn't even actually give us the same like lower and upper sort of format that we had before, or that like TeXs often have. But again, you're now free to customize how these are going to get put in. It also just has the data nicely set up for you, everything like that. So again, the insert and the info analysis constant, it offers a lot of other stuff too. And again, you can do the straight up equation just as easily. See how when you do the equation like this, you actually can edit it. It's just in the normal text of Prism. So in my case, I actually don't need this. So having this format here in the universal TeX setup is pretty great. Let's say that I was doing a different analysis here. So if I go back to nonlinear regression and I say, you know what? I'm going to use something that has a lot of bends and 4 parameters, maybe even 3 parameters right here, right? Again, this is not quite what the data calls for, but I did want to show you some more of the TeX capabilities here. So now, since that was some of our old stuff, yeah, that's not the right thing to use, but what we like to see and what I want to show you is that each of these TEX formats, there you go, are going to come through for us. So the TEX format is going to depend on what you asked of it, but the full equation now, as you can tell, is going to come through in the universal design. And you can resize both of these, make them a little smaller so that they're going to fit nicely with whatever your legend is. And again, you can customize it by double clicking like that. But again, most of the time you're going to find a nice fit. And I'll be careful like I wasn't right there. And you're going to find a nice fit for each of the equations. So yeah, so remember, I just wanted to run a model that was going to have a few more notations for the TEX for right there. But if you have a simpler model, it'll give you a simpler setup, then the format will still remain the same. So that's how you access the universal TEX model and equations. So thanks again for tuning in and see you in the next video.